right, there we are. Hello and welcome to the big 150 episode number. That's quite big. That's
Oh,
all I
geez.
gotta say about it.
Oh, man. And you have me on for this. I'm so sorry.
Oh, okay. Well, starting off strong, I see, with a little bit of self deprecation, but I've definitely been there. Well, let's lighten things up a bit. Tell us about yourself, other than that.
Okay, well, yeah, more seriously. Hello. I am TheSoundDefense. I've been had my eye on the speedrunning scene for I want to say like 20 years now. I got started way back in the old days, and now I'm known as a Sonic speedrunner mostly, but I've also done some Shantae. I do some random variety stuff as well. I haven't really done a lot of streaming this year, by which I mean I don't think I did any this year, but I'm hoping to change that in a big way next year. So please watch this space or my space, but also this space because it's GTA's this space and it's a good space.
And not to get confused with MySpace, the website. That's very dead. But
Yeah, no, don't pay attention to that. That's done.
if you want to find the spaces, they're linked in the description and on screen. That's the easy stuff. But yeah, episode 150. Uh, I don't have anything special for it. It's just a number, right? That's what they
Hmm.
say. But that
After
just means
150,
there's
then
plenty of content to watch, and it's still going, which is big. We love that.
I hear you can watch all of these on YouTube.
It's true. Many are saying this, and they're right.
Hmm.
So,
Interesting, if true.
big if true. So,
Yeah.
well, let's go ahead and get started here. So, you say you've been around for a little bit.
Hmm.
So, how did that begin?
Begun like way back in 2005, I want to say, when I found Speed Demo's archive, and I was just fascinated by speedruns. And I didn't participate in them for a long time. I sort of had the idea of doing so, but sorry, I'm distracted. I just noticed my cat in the background, Arthur, curling up on the couch. Everyone say hello.
This is huge. We loved
There's
pet
a,
sightings.
there is a second cat on my lap right now, but you cannot see her.
Mm,
Anyway, yeah. So yeah, I was just watching speedruns for many years. I have vague memories of watching the very first classic games done quick, way back in the
mm.
day. And
Like live as it
but I per
happened.
yeah, as it happens, on a laptop from my grandparents' farm
Hmm.
on terrible, terrible internet. Next, I didn't personally get started with speedrunning for like until 2014, I want to say, when started playing Shantae and the Pirate's Curse, which was my first speed game. I wasn't intending to speedrun it at first, but I was going for one of the speedrun completion goals. And I was doing so, I was like, hey, this is actually really fun. Could I actually speedrun this? And so I started, practicing and getting better and looking at the current speedrun tech. And it was a small scene, so I was able to get the world record after a month or two
Hmm.
and eventually took that to SGDQ 2015, which was my first GDQ.
Wow, that was fast.
But yeah, it was one of the benefits of playing a smaller game is that you get to stand out a little more quickly.
hmm Now, when you said there was some like speedrun goal, like an achievement in the game,
Hmm.
ah,
Yeah, it's like unlock this wallpaper if you beat the whole game in, I don't know, 2.5 hours or something.
well, I'm glad those exist because they birth speedrunners for real sometimes. There you go.
Yeah, it happened in this case.
hmm So it took you like 10 years to finally do it yourself after watching.
Yeah, it did. I was toying with the idea for the longest time. I never actually got started with it till I did so kind of by accident.
Hmm.
But from there, I was kind of stuck with it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
after that.
if you found it so early, how exactly did you stumble upon it?
Boy, how did I stumble upon it? I want to say it was probably through the GameFAQs message boards,
Oh,
dating me
okay.
even further.
Because Speed Demo's archive was out. right? So there was
Yeah,
some sort of hub for watching that content, but I know it wasn't something that was like very popular in terms of like mainstream attention. You had to like know how to find it.
yeah. You didn't. There was no YouTube at the time. No, social media video service to like insert these into your face. You just had to hear about them from somewhere and then go to the right place. It was a very different like scene as well. So I remember the the preeminent form of the speedrun was the segmented speedrun, which you almost
Mhm.
never see anymore. But
Yep.
almost all of them were segmented. You did them in little chunks and then stitched them together. And these days we'd call that cheating, but that's what everyone did at the time.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I mean, you had to send in your VHSs somehow.
oh gosh, that's right.
That was an era I was well too young for, so I missed out on the hard
I,
days, luckily.
I'm dating myself right now,
Oh,
slowly withering and turning to dust.
aren't we all though?
Mm-hmm.
So it happens. Time comes for us all.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of times,
Yeah.
so 10 years of so you would watch just like SDA stuff, and then when GDQ started, because that was a nice
Yeah.
live form of content watching. I don't know how prevalent YouTube was at the start of it for hosting speedrun stuff.
Um, I I would say it was probably fairly prevalent because before, like, I was into human speedrunning, like
Yeah.
TAS videos were
Oh yeah,
very
of
much a big
course.
thing as well.
Yeah,
That was, I
task
think,
videos were popular before YouTube too, even.
they were back on what video sites existed before YouTube? I don't even remember. I
I
know
I,
there
I
were some.
wasn't conscious yet. Well, I
I
was, but like not internet
I think you
conscious.
had to just download them. Like you didn't
Hmm.
watch them online. You downloaded them to your computer and watched them.
Yeah, man.
Oh gosh, was
Must
I
have been
sharing them through
sketchy
LimeWire?
times.
Was I sharing them through LimeWire at the time?
Jeez. That's like music piracy, right?
Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah.
guess. Except, it's a speed run. It's not.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of sort of copyrighted, but not the same thing, really.
Exactly the same thing. No. Okay. Yeah, I was always curious how, and I've heard like different things from different people here and there about way back when, but there's not a lot of way back when people that remember that are still active. So it's hard
Oh
to get.
yeah, I'm totally not turning to dust even faster as we speak.
No, it's fine. Um, See, that's what's nice about speedrunning is even when you're young, the scene makes you feel old, but you're not, you know? That's what you got to remember. Like
Yeah,
in terms of speedrun years, I am old and dust, but I'd like to think I'm not
Mm,
realistically.
there's always somebody older out there.
It's true. All right, so 2014, it's the big start
Hmm.
finally. And then
Yes, got started with Shantae, and that was super fun. Finally going to a GDQ, getting to see some cool people. I remember practicing in the practice room, and Spike Vegeta came up to me because he was the host for my run, and like he talked to me and asked me if there was like what the cadence was that I wanted for donations. Should he just jump in or would I be throwing to him?
mm.
I was like, wait a minute, this guy's like he's got a third dimension. He's not just a being in the screen. This is weird.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Hmm.
It turns
Like
out we're
that
all humans.
it
behind
is.
behind the whatever people use, because it's not always
Uh,
cameras. A lot of people are cameraless until they appear
yeah,
at an
that's
event.
true. It is like genuinely though, when I say he had an extra dimension, that is always the thing that jumps out at me. If you're used to seeing someone in a screen, your brain is
Mm,
convinced that they are a two-dimensional being, and then suddenly you see them in real life, and it's like a moment of uncanny valley. It's like,
really?
how did you get a z-axis?
I guess
So
I've never really thought of it that way. Hmm. I'm just
yeah,
thinking if I've ever felt like that before going to an event.
maybe not. My brain does some weird things. If I'm the only person to think a thought, I would not be surprised.
We all think unique thoughts sometimes.
Hmm.
But yeah. Anyway, GDQ is fun. I like
Hmm.
GDQ. So, and
Me too.
my first was in 2018. So I don't know exactly what the vibes were like back then.
Well, I mean, you were there.
In not in 2015.
Oh, back in 2015.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
was, I get you. I mean, it was not like the super tight knit event it was in the first couple years. Like, it was
yeah.
in a conference room in a hotel. Was it in Bloomington? I don't even remember where it was. It was somewhere in the Twin Cities.
Mm.
It was a much smaller feel. Felt a little more homegrown, and like now with the size of it, it's very hard to capture that feel, even if you wanted to.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
things
yeah,
evolve, that's for sure. But
yeah, for sure. It
and
was yeah, with a smaller event. I don't even think there was an arcade at the time.
mm,
Mostly just the stream room, and
stream room
then
and
whoever
practice
was
room.
hanging out. Yeah, in the tournament room, I suppose.
Okay. Yeah. Luckily nowadays there's a lot of smaller events all over the place that kind of have that vibe, I guess. But
Yeah,
yeah,
like
GDQ was
I
once in that position too.
yeah, and I know there are people who like are upset that GDQ no longer feels that way, but at this point, it's just impractical. Once you
Yeah.
reach a certain size, a certain notoriety, you just can't have the same vibe you did before. Things are going to change. But yeah, there are plenty of other smaller events that
Hmm.
that people should be checking out. I mean, all sorts of events like UKSG. I know people are a fan of, and that's been really fun. The Coliseum events when those show up,
Oh
much
yeah.
smaller, much more tight knit groups. Just people goofing off and having fun. Definitely recommend those.
Hmm. Yeah, there's tons of good options if you want the original feel, but I don't know, I like the modern GDQ experience. So,
Yeah, I do too. It feels like a festival.
yeah, a celebration of the hobby and everyone you know and love is there pretty much.
Yeah,
It's
exactly. Yeah, it's wonderful.
a good time. So but yeah, I was not around for 2015, but I know it had already kind of grown quite a bit because I know 2014, I believe, was like the first million, so it was already like getting going places.
Yeah, that's right. It was. Yeah, one way you can tell it was a lot smaller back in the day is that they let me host, which
Ah,
they
okay.
don't do anymore.
I see.
Like, yeah, it was. I was host for a couple of GDQs, and then at a certain point, they started having like proper auditions for them, and since that point, I've never gotten another hosting role.
Well, at least you got to say you did it,
Yeah,
if never again.
I did a couple of times, and yeah, the one I particularly remember is hosting for DK64, run by Tudos, which is a prescient moment considering what I've been doing since then.
Yes, I do know the foreshadowing that's playing right now, but
Hmm. We will get to that later.
of
Stay tuned.
course, of course. So, yeah, how? I guess I haven't really asked how the run you did went.
It went pretty great, I would say. I only soft locked once,
Oh, that's
which
good.
I'm happy about. Yeah, it was like for many months, we thought that Shantae and the Pirate's Curse was just this rock solid game. There was one trick that you could do called the Risky Shuffle that would let you like dash from a single point instead of having to walk. But we thought that was it. And then, like as GDQ submissions closed, someone discovered this huge game breaking glitch that would let you go out of bounds and hit load zones you're not supposed to hit. And
Hmm.
like if you do it right, you can even start flying infinitely, and so that broke the game wide open. So I
Great
had to
timing as
incorporate
always.
very much so. So I had to incorporate that into the run because it was too cool not to. And at one point, I accidentally flew upwards past a loading zone into the ether and soft locked. And
Mm,
I distracted from that by saying every time I soft locked, I would donate $100. So it was okay because money was being raised.
that's good.
Hmm.
If you ever fuck up, just give them money and it's all good.
Yes. Oh, we're allowed to swear here. Cool.
All right, so I'm not too familiar with the Shantae franchise. They're all like 2D platformers, right?
Yeah, they're all 2D platformers. They're all Metroidvania adjacent. Some of them are very pure Metroidvanias. A couple of them, like Shantae and the Pirate's Curse, is a more segmented Metroidvania because, like, you've got instead of one enormous connected map, you've got six different separated maps on different islands. But
Mm,
they've still got the feel of having to unlock like getting a certain ability and then being able to go back and traverse older areas and unlock new things. So yeah, it's still very much a Metroidvania, but
mhm.
uh, the main gimmick of the series is being able to transform into different forms by dancing. But the one game where you don't do that is Shantae and the Pirate's Curse. For story reasons, Shantae does not have her transformation magic, so instead you're picking up these pirate upgrades and it gives the game and the speedrun a very different feel because instead of constantly stopping to quickly change forms, all of your upgrades are more conducive to going fast and like smoothly transitioning into greater, more effective movements. And as a result, the pirate mode, which is what I usually speedrun, is where you start off with all of these movement upgrades, and so you can just be moving fast, jumping high, and doing all these sequence breaks from the get go. And it's just really, really fun to watch and fun to execute. And I would argue it's a really good starter speedrun if you're interested in picking it up because there's lots of periods of mental downtime where
Mm-mm.
like you'll be running across a map and you don't have to worry too much about all of the inputs that you're executing. You can just sort of take a break. It's not that intense, even if you're going really fast, just in like certain periods. So I've recommended a few times as a good starter speedrun for people.
Mm-hmm. So you said the category you primarily did is like a new game plus kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah, the pirate mode where you don't have to unlock the movement abilities. Otherwise, you don't have a run, you don't have the multi jump, you don't have hover, and you play a lot more of the game, and the tricks are a little more difficult and finicky.
Hmm,
I don't know, it's just for me less enjoyable to do and to watch. So
I see.
I gravitate towards the more fun categories.
That's fair. Everyone has their tastes, and so I'm trying to think. I know one game is like, was it GBA, and then
Heck, so there was a GBA game. It
okay,
came out this year, literally this year.
okay, that's not at all what I'm thinking of then.
No, the first Shantae was on Game Boy Color.
Oh,
Came
GBC.
out.
That's what I meant.
Yeah,
I just didn't
yeah,
say
okay,
that.
gotcha. Yeah, so yeah, that was the first one. I think in 2001. I've never beaten that game. It's so much slower. It's just not as easy to play. Oh, there's Bianca, and there she goes. Uh, yeah, I don't know where I was going with that, but yeah, that's the one Shantae game I have not finished aside from the new one.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm trying to think if I've seen the game you're talking about because I've
Hmm.
seen the Game Boy one, but like, yeah, again, I'm very unfamiliar. I'm bad when it
It's
comes to more independent stuff. I should be better,
no worries.
but
Like
I'm not.
you can't know
I
everything.
play Mario. I am unoriginal.
No, man. If I could play Mario, I would. You know, just that's a hard thing to break into.
Hmm.
Like if you've ever seen a pixel art game with a heroine with very long purple hair that uses it as a whip,
Hmm.
that's That's gonna be
Yeah,
Shantae.
I know what the character looks like. It's just the
Okay.
games I'm not, or like which game is which. Obviously, the Game Boy Color one stands out, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I don't know about. I don't even know how many games there are on that franchise. I know it's a few,
Uh,
but
there's 6 now. There was one
oh,
on
it's
Game
more than
Boy
I thought.
Color. And then many years later, it came on DSiWare, if anyone remembers
Oh,
that.
yeah.
And then Pirate's Curse came out on the 3DS, and then on the Wii U, and then on everything. Like I
Of
think that
course.
was
Yep.
basically the big break for the franchise.
Okay.
It just sort of exploded, and I think I own 6 copies of that game because I kept switching from one platform to another, trying to find the optimal speedrun platform for that.
Of course.
Yeah. Turns out some would say it's the PC. The problem is the PC version tends to crash if you have a
Awesome.
multi-threaded processor, which everybody does. So I more so do it on Xbox now, which is lower load times, better controls. It doesn't crash.
Okay.
Yeah, and then from there, it's tough. This franchise has had a tough run because WayForward is like a small independent company with
Hmm.
not a lot of money to make their own games. Usually they're contracted for other games, and so they have to crowdfund the next game, Half Genie Hero, and it feels a little crowdfunded. It's smaller. It's not as Metroidvania-esque. It's a little disappointing. And then for the game after that, Seven Sirens, they had Apple money to work with because Apple went to them and said, "Please make us a game for Apple Arcade." And so that's like the biggest, grandest game yet, and it's very good as well. Check that out.
Okay. Have you picked up the other games for running at all?
I briefly was picking up Seven Sirens for speedrunning, just on a whim. I never got too into it though, because um, I remember at the time there was like a glitch or two that was discovered that was a huge pain to pull off, and it ended up like being necessary if you wanted a really good time. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to do that. So I just sort of fell off and I let other people take on that speedrunning, which, hello, I'm sorry, I can't play with you right now. And, sorry, I think at this point, there is somebody I need to shout out. So, if you've ever heard the name Norimaki, JT Norimaki, or Norimaki SR, he was like the great granddaddy of Shantae speedrunning. He started getting into it after I did my speedrun at SGDQ 2015, and he took the game and raced it against Tina Hacks in 2018, Pirate's Curse, and he was out there speedrunning basically every single Shantae game. He would sometimes do them all in a row. He was very much the biggest proponent of speedrunning that series, and he sadly passed away earlier this year, just a few months ago. So can't talk about Shantae speedrunning without shouting him out. Mushi Norimaki, you were awesome. So, sorry to bring that down, but I do have to
No,
shout that guy out. He deserved it.
no, I understand. That's more than fine, believe me.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, with the game you ran, I don't know if it goes for the whole franchise, but it sounds well, at least just in time for your GDQ run, very broken. So
Um, it is pretty broken.
yeah,
Yeah, there
we
are
we do
some
love
very
that.
large. Mm-hmm. Can just like skip over major puzzles just by like running off screen and then using an item at just the right time, and then all of the scenery has deloaded, but the loading zone still exists, so you just pop over to where you want to go. A lot of cool skips possible that way.
Hmm.
Again, big soft lock potential. But yeah, I got to show it off, and I feel like it was a really good run. It was it underestimate? It was a few minutes underestimate, and I got to show off the good ending. There was a incentive to go from the bad ending to the good ending, and thankfully it was met, which was great because I get to show off the final boss, which is drastically way cooler, and I think
Hmm.
the best completion bonus a Shantae game has had.
Okay. So was the difference just an extra boss fight between the two?
It was Well, I mean, there was a difference across the whole run because you have to collect 20 MacGuffins
Oh,
across the
okay.
whole run. These dark magic things, which are scattered everywhere. So you explore some places you wouldn't normally explore, do a couple glitches you normally wouldn't do, and then, yeah, at the end, you have what would be a one-phase boss fight turns into a four-phase boss fight.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which is very difficult to do optimally. Like you have to. It's really interesting routing this game and routing things like item pickups and like upgrade management. It's like one person could grind a little more money to get a better upgrade, which would guarantee better DPS on the final boss. Because if you don't have good enough DPS on the final boss, you like instantly lose a minute by not defeating him in like one cycle. It's
Hmm.
pretty rough.
Well, why would anyone vote for bad ending?
I don't know. It's never a good idea. I don't think that Shantae and the Power Scripts has been run a few times, twice by me, and good ending has always been the chosen ending, which I'm happy about. It's just way better, more satisfying.
Mm-hmm. So, did you stick with that game only for a while, or what happened afterwards?
That's a game that I just sort of keep in my back pocket if there's ever an occasion where like I could submit a speed run for something, I can take Shantae out, and usually after about a week of practice, I can get back to a respectable showing. So that's something I just sort of keep in reserve. And I don't remember the last time I did it. I know I did it at SGDQ 2023, I believe. And I've also done it a couple times on GDQ Hotfix, like for a mercy kill or do all the things.
Mm.
So it's still around. It's not something I am doing regularly because the world record grind is a huge pain because it's very dependent on item luck. And trying to grind out a world record for a game with heavy RNG is not something I usually enjoy. I know other
Mm.
people do, but it's not for me. So
I wouldn't.
yeah, but I know some people who do. I know some people who will speed run specifically Knuckles' story in Sonic Adventure, which is just 100% RNG.
Yeah.
So yeah, I speed run it casually, I guess. I just take it out when, I have the occasion to. So it's always gonna be there, I think.
Hmm. So, what what was the next big project?
The next big project was Sonic 3 and Knuckles. And I never did the any percent run of that game. I knew right away. I actually knew many years ago, back in like 2010, that one day I wanted to speedrun the All Emeralds category for Sonic 3 and Knuckles. And starting in like 2015, 2016, I finally actually started doing that. And I did it in the worst way possible, which is to try and incorporate every single glitch right from the get go. Never do that. It's terrible.
Mm.
It's the worst possible way to speedrun a game.
Especially that game.
Yeah, especially that game where like if you drop one input at the wrong time, you've lost 3 minutes and your run is dead.
Hmm.
Not forgiving. And so don't ever do what I did. If you're gonna pick that game up or any game up, start glitchless, start reasonable, and then add one thing after another into the run.
Mm. Yeah. Sonic 3 and Knuckles is one of my favorite runs to watch. And I mean watch, not not perform.
Not perform.
That's for
That's
sure.
understandable. It's unforgiving, especially if you do it glitched.
Yes, that's certainly one way to put it, but when executed by someone that knows what they're doing, oh my god, that game is unrecognizable from a casual playthrough.
Oh, so much so. It's that's one of my favorite things about it. It's broken. You think of like broken Sonic games, you think Sonic 06, Sonic
Mhm.
Boom, anything released between 1999 and 2015.
Yeah.
Sonic 3 and Knuckles is an extraordinarily broken game if you know how to do it. If you
Mhm.
haven't watched the speedrun, please do so. Please watch the glitched run. It's a trip.
Yeah, that's actually something very interesting is in a casual like playthrough, you probably won't really glitch the game all that much. But if you know what you're doing, oh my god.
Mm-hmm. This is actually, it's interesting you say that because there is an element in the Sonic 3 manual that warns of Dr. Robotnik's deadly speed
I've
traps,
heard of
where
that.
like
Yes.
yes, it's basically warning that if you go too fast, you might find yourself stuck somewhere that you can't get out of, which is basically them trying to wallpaper over the fact that the game is much glitchier than you might think. Especially the original Sonic 3, because there was Sonic 3 and then there was Sonic and Knuckles released separately due to weird contractual obligations. But Sonic 3 by itself is like a beta, almost unfinished version of the game. It's a lot glitchier, doesn't work as well, much more likely to break on you. Like if you play Sonic 3 standalone as Tails, you are almost guaranteed to die in Ice Cap because they did not properly set a flag. And when you get to the infinite scroll section, you just die.
Huh.
Yeah,
Okay.
very weird. But yeah, a lot of that is patched when you add on Sonic and Knuckles.
I see. Yeah, now that I think about it, I don't think I've ever watched a Sonic 3 standalone run. They always combine it with Knuckles.
Yeah, you'll see very few of those. I know some people do those. None to One was doing Sonic 3 standalone for a little while. But yeah, that's the main reason why is the game is just a little more broken. And a big thing is that spin dashes are more difficult because in Sonic 3 standalone, you have to spin dash from a dead stop. In Sonic 3 and Knuckles, you can spin dash while you're moving very slowly, and the difference is enormous.
Oh. Huh. Do you have to be at a complete still for the Sonic 2?
I think you do,
Okay.
yes.
Because I am familiar with that mechanic. Um,
Yeah, the spin dashes.
huh.
Yeah, in Sonic 3 and Knuckles, yeah, if you're moving very slowly, you can still spin dash, which means that you can stop on a slope and spin dash, which you're not supposed to do, and some great
Ah,
hilarity can ensue from that.
okay. That makes more sense. Yeah. I mean, I've watched so many runs, but when you get into the nitty-gritty, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I
I just know you
actually,
push some buttons and magic happens.
yeah. Speaking of, if you are actually curious, a few years ago, I did an episode of Victory Lap of Sonic 3 and Knuckles on the Games.Quick hotfix, and there I do a detailed breakdown of the glitches and what's going on. So if you're ever curious, go
Mm.
ahead and check that out.
Because I actually had to commentate a Sonic 3 and Knuckles run at GDQX
Oh,
last year. Um
how'd that go?
I'd like to think it went well, but I can't explain what's going on. I'm just like, watch this, and then things happen, and it's like, wow, that was cool. I don't know why
just,
that happened, but boy, did it.
just repeat that for almost every zone. Wow,
Hmm.
that was cool.
Yeah, it was all like, I think I remember saying, like, enjoy the first three like acts, because once you hit Hydro 2, the game you know will cease to exist
Yes.
because
That is,
all the rest is broken.
that is exactly how it works. I think there's a brief break in Hidden Palace because there's just not enough level to break. But
Yeah, which is funny because like what Lava Reef 2 kind of shares the look of Hidden Palace, and boy, if you
yeah,
hit Monitor Clip.
gosh, yes, monitor clip. I've never hit monitor clip as Sonic. It's so difficult. I've hit it plenty of times as Tails because Tails is very slightly shorter, which makes the monitor clip drastically easier.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
Yep.
Yeah,
Those
it's
intricate
if you've not
details.
watched if you've not watched the speedrun, it is a trip. You really have to.
Yes. Anyway, the one I tried commentating, it was Supersonic GDQX last year.
Oh yeah,
He
yeah.
nailed it, first of all. Like there was like one missed trick and it was keeping slope glitch into Carnival Night 2. But like the rest, whew,
Mhm. That makes sense. Supersonic is an absolute beast.
he
He's
is the
amazing.
goat, I'd like to think. But yeah, no, that game will always blow my mind. I've been watching it for years. Uh because
Hmm.
I have like nostalgia for the second game. Like I've even tried running the second game. And that's you know, pretty glitchy, pretty fun, but I mean, it's nothing. Sonic 3 is special.
It's
It's
it
something
very much so
special.
is. Yeah, it's one of those games where their ambition very slightly exceeded their ability, and I mean, like they pulled it together well, but it takes very little to break it apart.
Well, as I've been saying, I'm obviously pretty familiar with the any percent run, but I am not
Mhm.
familiar with the All Emeralds run. So that's where you come in.
Right. So yeah, I don't remember exactly what drew me to All Emeralds in particular. I just remember enjoying the special stages as a kid, and I think that I don't know, I just sort of wanted to stand out, I guess, at the time. But one thing that I was fairly certain of when I started was that if I just did those special stages normally, it wasn't going to be interesting to watch. People wouldn't want to check that out because it would just be like a cool speed run with 14 long, kind of boring breaks.
Mm.
So what I did was I looked up the All Emeralds task to see what the task did, and I just noted everything the task did that I could possibly do as a human, and then I
Mm.
just practiced that as much as I could. And oh, it's a lot of work for I think a combined 45 seconds of time save, but it's really really fun to watch and difficult but very fun to do. Like I don't know if you've seen the All Emeralds run.
I don't think I've seen a full run of it. Because honestly, the idea of the special stage, like the blue spheres, everyone loves blue spheres. I say very unsarcastically,
Right.
but I know, yeah, it can look sketchy sometimes with
Yeah.
some of the skips. I mean, they are, I guess, in a sense, but
Yeah, they are. It's like if you've ever seen the third special stage in particular, where at a certain point you do half the stage walking backwards, unable to see what's coming. You just sort of have
mm,
to memorize the stage in order to pull that off.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
That saves less than a second doing it that way, as opposed to just doing it forward. But
But it
the
saves a million
swag,
in swag seconds, which is what
yes, the
matters.
swag savings are worth it
Hmm.
100%. And I mean, like in this case, that was literally the case because that's like how I made the run stand out, which is to basically do task strats in the special stages, which people did not do.
Hmm. Well,
Yeah, it
kudos
was
for making
very.
boring interesting.
Thank
That's what
you.
we love to see.
I'm still very proud of that. But
Hmm.
it took years to put that together properly. Because, like I said, it wasn't. I tried doing all the glitches at once, and there's so many glitches, and they're so difficult. Like my first submission to GDQ was a mess. Like at one point, I had to load a save state on the Xbox 360 version of the game in order to make it work, because that's what I was running.
Mm.
And obviously, that run did not get accepted, and it wasn't accepted until 2020, after several consecutive years of attempting it. Just because a mix of I think I was not good enough at it yet, and I suspect I don't know the interest of seeing all emeralds was not that strong just on its face.
If it was 2020, that was summer then, the online.
That was summer. What was
Because
when
I
we had
remember
that?
being in the room for HDQ 2020 Sonic 3.
Yeah, that's right. Was that. He goes by Sega Junkie now, but yeah.
No, that was
Was
Joey
it?
and Zaxxon race.
Oh, that's right. Sorry, I was thinking of a previous
Yes,
year, but
Sega Junkie was summer 2018 because I was also there.
yeah.
That was his
Yes, that's
last
right.
GDQ appearance. He did Sonic 2 and Sonic
That's
3 back to back.
that's right. The Sonic 3 was a bonus game incentive.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So,
That's right. The race, I forgot about
yeah. Um, Given part of what happened, I understand trying to block that out of the memory banks, but
that.
the game is hard, you know?
Yes, very much so. It's not a speed run for the faint of heart.
Not at
It's
all. And then
very.
having to hope that two people can even finish the game, that's asking quite a bit actually. Like
Oh yeah,
especially back
there's
then.
even. like many years after I started running the game and I was, streaming it twice a week, there would be many streams where I never finished a run because it was just too hard to complete a run.
Yeah, I mean, well, here when you're doing the all emeralds, is because you have to what collect or no, you have to find the like big rotating rings and jump through them in that game,
Yes, you do.
and that's so. But everything else is basically the same route. You just route in a quick stop into those, right?
It depends.
Yeah.
Let me. I'm thinking of the ring route right now, particularly for Sonic. Angel Island is the same, except yeah, you do 4 quick detours to pick up 4 big rings. But
Mm-hmm.
altogether, very small amount of time loss. You pick up one in Hydra City 1, and then yeah, the rest of the game, Hydra City 2 through Carnival Night 2, all the same. Ice Cap, you pick up the final 2 big rings, and then from there you can be supersonic, but you don't want to be because it makes the following skips harder.
Hmm.
And things do change very much at Mushroom Hill. This is something I've spent a lot of time sciencing out. What is the fastest way to get all of the big rings? Because it's such a big deal. And I've tried many different ways, but the conclusion I keep coming to is that it is fastest to not skip Mushroom Hill at all. Normally, you would skip pretty much all of Mushroom Hill 1 and then all of Mushroom Hill 2.
Mm-hmm.
But for the All Emeralds route, there are just 7 really nicely placed big rings on the normal route. So instead of doing any skips in Mushroom Hill, it's faster to just get all 7 of them in that stage.
Mm.
Then from there, the run is mostly the same, except for a couple small changes, because at that point you have hypersonic and you have some movement abilities you otherwise would not. Like in Sandopolis, there is a skip that's not otherwise possible that will save you a few seconds, that lets you climb up a giant sand waterfall. And that's really fun because then you can break the end boss, where the boss just doesn't start, and then things get really weird from there.
Oh, I haven't seen
There's
that. I know
You should check.
in the normal like boss fight you can make it so the music doesn't play.
Yes, you can do that if you are fast enough. You can make it so the music doesn't play.
I only
Like if
remember
you
that because during the run I was commentating, Supersonic said he was going to pull that off and then he did and I was just like, wow, what a banger.
yeah,
Good tunes right there.
he's Supersonic is just so impressive, man. If you're not following Supersonic, you should be.
You know, he was
Yeah,
episode number 1. Fun
he
fact.
was episode number 1. I remember seeing that. I
So,
was looking at your playlist, and I said, "Oh, I guess this GTA guy's pretty legit. He's got Supersonic."
we're all
No, I
Supersonic
kid.
fans here.
Yeah, I kid though. You are legit with or without the presence of Supersonic. But yeah, the
Glad.
Sandopolis glitch with hypersonic, you can break it even more, where like the full facade of the boss doesn't show up, the camera doesn't lock, like the ghosts never go away. They just sort of hang out while your score is counting down, and they can kill you in the cutscene of the score counting down if you're not careful.
Oh, so they can damage you
Yeah.
despite being hyperform?
At that point you wouldn't be hyperform because it disappears
Oh.
after you capsule.
Oh, okay. Because I was gonna say you'd be invincible, but okay. I forgot they cut it away from you at the end.
Yeah, they do.
Okay.
Then from there, there's a small change in Lava Reef 2. If you want to do it, there is a different way to skip the boss, where you just fly over the top of the stage as hypersonic, but you have to be careful there because once again you can soft lock, and I did soft lock there at SGDQ 2020, which was very upsetting because it was an incredible run up to that point.
But you
And
got to
then
do it. You got to stay true to your roots.
you do. You have to go for the swag because, like, you would never see that specific skip anywhere else other than an All Emeralds run.
Mm-hmm.
Then in Death Egg, there is a different route you can do because Hypersonic has that extra dash, but otherwise it's basically the same. And then at the very end, you have to do the Doomsday Zone, which otherwise you would never see in a
Yeah.
speedrun. Yeah, that one is pretty hard to optimize. It's mostly like memorizing where rings are and then just like very, very quickly navigating missiles into robotic space. But it is always really fun to do just because it shows up so little in a speedrun context.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, other than that, it's basically the same run.
Basically the same. Yeah.
Mhm.
Doesn't sound
Except for
much
here.
different at all.
No, not at all.
But yeah, I mean, just that game will always blow my mind. I'm just trying
Yeah,
to
me too.
picture, because again, I don't think I've seen a full All Emeralds run, so I'm trying to picture how it would work, and I'm just like, oh my god.
Yeah, can't recommend enough. Please check it out, if only because the run you see is probably going to be mine. I know I've been doing those. None to One, I think, does some of those. Supersonic has also been on that for a bit. He's slowly encroaching on my time, and I hope he gets it because I want a good reason to go back.
Yeah, you have the record
I
as of
do.
right now.
I have the record for Sonic, and I have the record for Tails, which is a different run in a lot of meaningful places. And I do not have the record for Knuckles because someone who's actually good has that record, and I'm scared to try it.
Mm, fair enough. So, how different is the Tails route?
It's fairly different. I mentioned previously that the tail sprite is slightly shorter than the Sonic sprite,
Mm-hmm.
which you wouldn't think makes a big difference, but it actually makes some glitches completely impossible that you wouldn't really
Oh.
expect.
Hmm.
Like you can't do your standard Marble Garden uh, glitch as Sonic. Normally, you just skip the whole stage and fight the boss inside a bunch of rocks. But if you try it with Tails, you soft lock instantly. So you have to
Oh. Huh.
you have to do some smaller skips. Actually, go into Marble Garden 2, do a few more skips, and then fight Knuckles as boss.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, that's very different.
Yeah, very much so. And what else is different? Not a whole lot. Launch base is a little easier with Tails for
Hmm.
a couple of reasons. Like the trick that would not really work with Sonic does work with Tails. Otherwise, I have lost my train of thought a little bit, but yeah, with Sonic you have to do a very difficult, some frame perfect stuff with slope glitch. With Tails, you can just crouch at one point and you'll zip to the boss. So
Hmm.
that's a lot easier. I actually think the Tails run is easier in general. And with Tails, there's no Doomsday at the very end either. That never happens, even if you have all the emeralds.
Oh, okay. That's a Sonic
Mhm.
only thing.
It is a Sonic only thing, yes.
Interesting.
Unless you're playing like Sonic Origins, I think there are some ways to get
Oh,
other
okay.
characters in there, potentially.
Hmm.
I don't know. I haven't played much Sonic Origins, honestly, because for various reasons, they tried to fix it
I've
in a
heard
few
things
ways.
about Sonic Origins.
Yeah, tried to fix it in a few ways that just made it worse, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised, honestly, but
Mm,
I do think I picked it up on sale, but I haven't played it yet because I still
what'd you
haven't
play?
played CD. Although now I have an actual Sega Genesis, so I could
Oh, really?
play all the games on real hardware for the first time. So,
As intended.
as
Excellent.
intended by design and intended. Yes,
Ah,
I'm
I see what you
familiar.
did
I'm
there.
familiar. Don't worry.
Oh, good, good, good.
Yes. I wasn't kidding when I said the run fascinates me.
Mm,
But yeah, I'll have to do that sometime because I especially have never beaten any of those games with all emeralds. So,
oh yeah, check it out, especially Sonic 3, because just
hmm
the ending is much more fun
you've
that way.
got doubled the emeralds. It's great.
You do, yeah. I remember now. I'm sorry, we're going off on one tangent
It's
after another, but
that's all this show is. Keep it going.
okay. Okay, so I remember after doing SGDQ 2020, there appeared an article in Kotaku written by Ash Parrish about how she had played that game growing up and she loved it, but she had never like combined the two carts together and had never learned until that specific speedrun that the Super Emeralds even existed.
Oh,
And
that's funny.
that led that led to a small memory about like the experience of growing up and like your friends are talking about this amazing thing they found in a video game that is
Hmm
totally real that might actually not or not be real. And
Yeah.
Yeah,
Playground
she
rumors,
remembered.
classic.
Yes, exactly. Push the truck, you'll find Mew.
There he is.
Then yeah, she talked about how that was one of the things she had been taunted with when she was younger, and she's like, "No way, that's not real." And then
Yeah.
some 25 years later, she realizes, "Oh my God, this is a real thing." That was very cool to see.
Oh, that's great. I love when GDQ runs spawn things in news.
Yeah, me too.
I've seen
This
some pretty good ones.
happened a couple times. That's more foreshadowing for
Ah,
later
I see, I
potentially.
see.
So,
Well, um, I guess not sure where to go from here. So
I mean, we sort of stopped partway through. What have I been doing? I guess.
yeah.
Uh, Yeah, the period of 2017 to 2020 was mostly me practicing Sonic 3 and Knuckles, and there were a couple of brief detours. I spent a little bit of time playing Mario Odyssey, trying to
Ah,
get
of
my time
course.
down.
Yeah.
I made it eventually to like a 116,
Mm,
which I, upon reflection, I'm happy with. At the
yeah.
time, I wasn't really thrilled with it, but the process of getting better at that game and practicing it and constantly losing runs, I realized was it was not doing good things to my mood. Like it was
Mm,
stressing me out, and I was getting just angrier in general. And I realized this is not good for me, and so I put the game down, and I haven't picked it back up. And yeah, I have no regrets about that. I think if you're not enjoying speedrunning, you shouldn't do it.
yeah.
And the other game I picked up at the time, which I don't regret at all, was Celeste, which is one
Yes.
of my all-time favorite games. Masterpiece of a video game.
Hold on. I have
But
to piss off the world by saying still haven't played it. We'll get there. I know.
mm,
I know. I know.
okay,
I'm cringe. I get it, but
deep breath. Okay.
like I said, I
Oh,
like all the good indies. I haven't gotten to yet. I
no, that's okay.
Once I picked up speedrunning, like casual gaming just died almost. But
I get that. Yes, especially if you are speedrunning in like a full-time capacity as like a full-time streamer.
I'm
That
not
totally makes
though,
sense.
so I don't have a huge
Oh,
excuse.
all right then. I take that back.
Yeah, no. I no, I am just cringe. I get it. But
No, it's okay. It's okay to not have played Celeste yet.
yes.
I really, I recommend that game to everyone. Can't recommend it enough.
Mm.
It's almost perfect.
No, it's funny because at a PAX West, um I it was last year because I got in to do a Mario run, but King J got in to do the Celeste 64 and Noel was there. So he did commentary. So I just told him, "Hey, still haven't played your game, but I've heard great things." And then I know Maddie's been at a few GDQs before because she's big in the Mario World hacking scene, but
Yes, that's right. God, she's the utmost troll among trolls in
of
the Mario
course, of
hacking scene,
course.
which is fantastic.
She allegedly does great work. Allegedly.
Allegedly,
Yes,
yes.
of course.
Hmm.
But
She does do work. It's probably great.
yeah, I've heard. Maybe, allegedly. Anyway, but yes, we'll get there. But no, I know the speed run is very popular. First of all, like it's very built for it. I know there's an in-game timer and like it's all structured in a way that flows really well. But
Yeah, and like
yeah, I don't know too much
during
about it though.
I know that during development, they would come across a lot of, unintended side effects of their physics engines that would let you go really fast. And instead of patching them out, they would either just leave them in or
Hmm.
explicitly turn them into game mechanics, which is where things like the wave dash and the hyper dash
Yeah,
come from. They weren't intended, but they make you go fast, and so they became intended, which is a great approach to have.
of course.
Yeah, and
That's why
then
indies are great.
yes,
They don't give
that
a fuck.
that reminds me of two things I need to say. One is about Celeste, which is that at one point, like I know a very early change that was made in Celeste was made specifically for the speedrun timer, because when you enter a new room in Celeste, there's like a brief period of like your character Madeline, jumping into the room and then landing on the ground. And the speedrun community discovered that you could pause the game like just as you're entering the room, do a restart, and like just start the room from there, and it would save that small amount of time spent, not waiting for her to land on the ground. And everyone said this is going to make speedruns terrible because you have to do this in every room. And so the developers changed the speedrun timer so it continues running in the pause menu, thus taking away the incentive to do that.
Interesting.
Both clever and very speedrun friendly, and I love developers that listen to the community like that. Which
I noticed an interesting connection between Celeste and Sonic with having the timer count during pauses.
yes,
being changed.
That is a thing, yes. So that's another thing I have to talk about in a minute.
Yes.
I wanted to bring up also, going back to Shantae and the Pirate's Curse, developed by WayForward. So there's a trick that we do called the Risky Shuffle in that game, where normally for your dash mechanic, you have to be walking in a certain direction for a couple of seconds in order to dash. But what you can do is you can hold the control stick in one direction and tap the D-pad in another direction, and Shantae will just sort of wobble back and forth, but you'll still be building up that dash. And so
like left plus right.
Basically.
It's funny since we like banned that, at least for like NES. But
yeah, no, that's still allowed in Shantae. It's I guess it is technically left and right at the same time. You're just using the control stick at the D-pad.
Yeah.
But at one point there was an update to Shantae and the Pirate's Curse that changed how the control stick and the D-pad interact, where how exactly does it work? Where one control method used to override the other, and it made the trick possible, but then they swapped them, and so now the trick was basically impossible or drastically more difficult. And somebody in the speedrun community emailed WayForward and said, hey, this change, it totally breaks our speedruns now. Could you please change it back? And they did, like almost instantly. Which is incredibly cool, and I've always praised them for that. So thank you, WayForward, for that.
Yeah. It's cool that indies can have like such close connections with the speedrun community for stuff like that.
It's really nice. I love the indie community for that.
Yeah, it's hard to see that anywhere else, so that's a nice thing about it. And then also they're more willing to like be a part of like, commentary or something, stuff like that.
Yes, which is great. There's several GDQ runs where they got some developers on to do commentary, and I know Battle Block Theater was one of those, with Stamper, the great Stamper, on the call at the time, which was super fun. I can't remember any others at the moment, but check that run, that GDQ run with Battle Block Theater. There was something else we were going to talk. Oh yeah, you mentioned Sonic timing.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah.
So yeah, previously in the older days, which are not even that old, just a few years ago, Sonic games were almost entirely timed by in-game time, which is just whatever the timer said in the top left corner when you beat a level. That doesn't work so well for certain categories, like all Emerald categories in particular, the special stages, there is no timer, and other various things. And so eventually, I think for Sonic 3 at first, and then the other games later, they made the switch to real time, but that had an unintended side effect when it came to the time bonus, because if you go through a level super fast in under a minute, then you get a time bonus of 50,000 points, which counts down really slowly. It's like a 12-second countdown on the final score screen. And so this would lead to this sort of paradox where if you were to go maybe 1 second slower in the level, you would end up like 10 seconds ahead just because of the score screen. And there is a Sonic 2 speedrun race at GDQ where somebody took advantage of this to catch up from being many seconds behind.
Yeah, that was a
So
Sega Junkie in Worcester at like a really old GDQ. I forget which one,
yes,
but yeah, it was. I think it was the Sonic 2 Knuckles, and yeah, one of them
it
just
was.
waited for the second to tick down, and then they were tied again. It's like
Yeah,
I sense an issue here.
yes, it was an issue, but it was extremely funny.
It
Uh,
was funny.
Now what we do is we have a timing method called RTA minus TB, which is all real time except the timer is paused when the time bonus is counting down,
Hmm.
which is something that you can do with a live split plugin. So it's kind of weird, but it's at the moment the most accurate way to be fair and get fast speedruns.
Hmm. And as far as I remember, Sonic 3 and Knuckles always, I know probably didn't always, but again, as far as I know, it always used the RTA minus time bonus. But Sonic 1 and 2 didn't. They used IGT for a long time,
Yeah,
which
for a
you
very
could
long time.
abuse pausing a lot for that. Like, I know certain times would be like a few seconds apart, but might be like a minute apart in real time because one person was pausing so much. It was
Yes,
a whole thing.
it was a whole lot of pausing abuse. I remember the other day on YouTube there came up some video about how pausing broke Sonic speedruns.
Oh, was
I
that
didn't watch
Lunatic
it.
J? I think I've seen that one.
Yeah, yeah, I haven't watched it, but yeah,
It's a
I'm
good
not
breakdown
surprised
for it, yeah.
that Sonic 2 ended up moving to that as well. It's just because pause abuse is just it's a little too much.
Yeah, but yeah, you also can't just have straight RTA because of that time bonus. It's in every Sonic 2D
Hmm.
Sonic game, so
Exactly.
but I'm no I'm no Sonic 2 moderator. I've had to do similar things for SMP1 though, but retiming all those
Really.
runs and making the leaderboards updated for that must have been fun.
I'm glad I didn't have to do it.
Yeah. So shoutouts.
Thank
Remember to always show love to your moderators because it is very much a thankless job.
Absolutely. Thankfully, I think Sonic 2 is a not quite as popular of a speed game as Mario 1, so
Yes.
probably an order of magnitude fewer runs to look at.
Yes. And I'm no longer mod for Mario 1, so I can't have
Okay.
any praise anymore, but praise the actual mods that are working right now. They need it because it truly is a lot of work for literally nothing but the love of the craft. So,
It's that's like the whole speedrunning community, honestly. There's
yeah.
so much work that gets put into it, so many discoveries, and like it's not even that like people are, hoarding these discoveries. It's all there's just so much open information. Anyone
Mhm.
can take advantage of the fruits of someone else's labor just to help grow the practice.
Mhm. Yep. I know
Speedruns.
long time ago it did not used to be that way. Like old SDA time, well, especially Twin Galaxies times.
Mm-hmm. Oh gosh,
Even though we
yeah.
try not to talk about that, but yeah, there was a lot of hoarding. You don't see that anymore, which is overall awesome
There,
because it
yeah,
just
very
helps
glad about that.
everyone.
Think the only instance I can think of that happening in recent years is when I do not remember their name, but one person was secretly grinding out all of the Mario Kart 64
Yes,
records and just
I know
posted them all at
exactly what
once.
you're talking about, and I know
Uh,
I know who it is. I could call them out. I won't, but yes,
mhm.
that was the whole thing.
Yeah, I'm not. Even if I could remember, probably just leave that alone.
Yeah. As far as I know, it's all fine now anyway.
Hmm.
But yes, it was a little interesting, but I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, for now.
But as far as like strats, at least, I haven't heard of any like big discoveries being withheld for any reason. So
Yeah, me neither.
you love to see it. All right. Well, I guess move on to another game. I'm sure you've done other things too.
Um, I haven't really done. hmm, So since SGDQ 2020, I have still been on the Sonic grind for a little while because, like, I had the Sonic record shortly after SGDQ 2020, which was very difficult to get, even though the record was not super optimized.
Mhm.
Yeah, I pushed that down very, very far. It's currently at a 53:59.98. So
Holy shit.
literally,
Okay.
literally one frame away from being a 54-minute run. That was,
Shoutouts to
gosh,
retimes.
shot very much 3 times. In
Holy
fact,
shit.
that was the run that made the mods realize they had to rework how they did retimes because
Hmm.
of, so how do we say? So normally, previous to that, the run would end at the Death Egg Zone, and it ends on Fade to White. And if you're a moderator, the exact moment you're looking for where the timing stops is the moment where the Sonic's 1-up icon fades to white. At that exact frame, time stops. And that's what they were doing for all Emeralds runs as well, because it didn't really matter up until this specific run. But then
Hmm.
they realized that if you were hypersonic, then there was actually a variable amount of time it would take for that icon to go off screen,
Hmm.
and it was not consistent. And so they realized this was no longer a viable timing method for this category. So they had to figure out something else to make that work. And after they retimed it, it was 53:59.98.
Really giving the mods a hard time, aren't we?
I look, it was, if I could have saved more frames, I would have. I actually remember in that specific run doing two very small tricks that each saved one frame. At the moment I commented like this is not going to make a difference, but I do it anyway just for fun. Turns out it made all the difference.
It's
Every frame
impressive.
matters.
It's true. Wow, I
Yeah.
didn't realize it was that close.
It's,
It's funny.
yeah, I didn't either.
And then I
But yeah,
know the
once
Tails run is faster than the Sonic run. Is that just
it
because of
is.
the final stage not being there?
It is almost entirely because of the final
Okay.
stage not being there, but also like if I pushed it a little farther, I could probably squeeze another 30 seconds to a minute out of it. Right
Hmm.
now, the Tails run is at a 51:58, and it could conceivably get into the 50s with really good execution. The execution required to get all of these tricks is so high, and there are many tricks that are easier with Tails. Like I said earlier, monitor clip is much easier.
Hmm.
There are some that are more difficult, like in Sandopolis 2, there's a trick called loop skip that lets you skip a huge amount of the pyramid, and that's just more difficult to set up as Tails because you have to do a slower setup and the cues are not as good. And so I don't usually go for it in a run. I go with something just a little bit slower, which probably is like, I guess it's like a good 20 seconds slower or so. But yeah, the time could be pushed down lower. But at the moment, fairly happy with where Tails is. But yeah, after I did Sonic, I switched to Tails and I started doing that more frequently. And that was the run I took to SGDQ 2024 last year
Hmm.
with Alec K and Argic and Kuiper on the couch. And that one, I had been trying to get Tails in for a little while, but they hadn't taken it for several years. So for that year, I had the idea, what if we made it a bid war between Sonic and Tails? And they did accept it like that. And then I just had to cross my fingers and hope that Sonic was not chosen because I was not nearly as well practiced in Sonic as I was in Tails. Thankfully, it was not even slightly close. Everyone always wants to see the alternate characters.
Yeah, of
So
course.
I did not have to call up the bank and ask for a small loan to push Tails over the top.
I see. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know they usually come in clutch with the more interesting option.
Which I was counting on, honestly. This was a calculated move on my part that could have blown
Hmm.
up in my face.
But yeah, I was curious if one character is faster than the other overall, taking out the last stage.
Even if you take out the last stage, I think Tails has more time potential by roughly a minute, I want to say.
Okay. That's
And of
interesting.
course, Knuckles is a good 15 to 20 minutes faster just because there's
Wow.
much less game at the end of the game. Like there's almost no hidden palace, there's almost no sky sanctuary, there is no death egg, and
Oh,
other things are simpler as well. Yeah,
I get.
like
Yeah, I've never seen a Knuckles run. I didn't realize the game was so
yeah,
much
it's
different. I knew he had
oh,
unique boss fights in a couple places, but
he does have some unique boss fights. It's meant the way it's designed is that Knuckles' story is supposed to take place after Sonic's story, and there's
mm,
several hints to this in the game. Like if you play as Knuckles, the floating island is no longer sitting in the ocean; it's now in the sky. Uh, the
mm.
Death Egg has been edited out of backgrounds; it no longer exists.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
Huh.
And yeah, but yeah, there's no the last few stages have just been completely truncated and or edited out entirely.
Okay. So if you were to play Sonic 3 and Knuckles, you got to do a Sonic and then a Knuckles. That's what they intend.
Yeah, I think that's the intention, which is of course not what I did when I was younger,
Of
because
course not.
Knuckles was way cooler, and so I
Mm-hmm.
played only as Knuckles for like 6 months because he was cool.
He was cool. Good for him. But
Hmm.
yeah. Um. So with this is something I forgot to ask when we were talking about today. I learned Sonic 3 is glitchier without the Sonic Knuckles add-on, but is the
Hmm.
Sonic and Knuckles portion the same both ways?
It's almost exactly the same. There's uh, at the very start of Mushroom Hill, if you are locked on, there will be an extra cutscene where you are introduced to the Super Emeralds and the Hidden Palace Zone area where you can select your special stage.
Mm,
That just doesn't exist in standalone Sonic and Knuckles because there's only 7 emeralds.
yeah.
Otherwise, basically identical except for the lack of a save system because the save system's
Oh,
all
that's
on the
right.
Sonic 3 cart.
I forgot. Yeah, Sonic and Knuckles standalone doesn't have a save function. That's
Hmm.
interesting, but
Yep,
I guess that whole situation is interesting in itself. So
very much so.
so
Yeah, it
it's a
was.
fun history lesson. But
Yeah, it's
yeah.
check it out. It is Sega as a company has had some very weird practices that's led to some very interesting stuff. This is one of the cooler outcomes of it, I think, the whole lock-on technology.
Yeah, it is cool, especially
Mhm.
like being able to do new content in games that have already been out a while.
Yeah, which only existed for 2 games, but it was a very
Still
cool.
cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I knew for speedrunning that you could do S3K, but you could also do just S3 or S and K. But it's like, why? I guess it makes a little more sense now, but
Yeah. Yes, S3K is what everyone does. It's just
hmm
more fun. For
yeah.
the one weird exception, which is tournaments.
Mm.
There's been a few tournaments, but I think the general idea was that Sonic 3 and Knuckles was too long for a tournament. And so the ones I've seen have been just one or the other, basically, unless we're talking about one of the fan remakes or whatever.
Hmm. Okay.
Odd little addendum.
So have you done any other Sonic games?
Um, Now that you mention it, I have. I took up, for reasons unknown to me, Sonic 06 as a speed game. For
Well, as a game, I'm so sorry, but the speedrun must be sick.
the
Talk
speedrun
about broken
is
games.
the speedrun is extremely sick. It is a much better speed game than it is a game for 2 major reasons. One, of course, is the game's extremely broken. You can glitch it left,
Is
right,
it
and center.
now?
Yeah, you may have heard Sonic 06.
Shocking
Kind of a rough.
revelation.
Hmm. Yeah, you can do a whole bunch of nonsense skips in that game. It's really fun. The other reason is that it is surprisingly deterministic, like
Oh,
how it
huh.
works. It's very little randomness involved. You put in the same inputs, you're going to get the same outputs basically every time. So
Hmm.
that's just you don't have to struggle against if the game feels like giving you something, which put those two together, you can get a really cool speed run.
Yeah, that's interesting. I very much thought it would not be deterministic, but
Yeah, I was surprised to hear that.
yeah,
Yeah, I was
it's good
doing
stuff.
that on and off for I want to say a year. Like I was getting to the point where I was entering a speedrun tournament run by the Sacer community, which is something we can get into more in a bit. Yeah, I've entered a few speedrun tournaments in the day. I usually do terribly unless it's a Shantae tournament. Yeah, it's a fun way to like have an excuse to pick up a game again and practice it and get that time down and sort of get more involved in a community.
Well, you can certainly go into more detail on the tournament side of things.
Yeah. So I don't know how many people have heard the term SACER, which stands for Sonic Adventure Era Speedrunning. It's a community of people who play the speed games basically between Sonic Adventure and Sonic 06. For a good 3 to 4 year stretch, they were extremely active, doing all sorts of tournaments constantly throughout the year. Things have cooled down a little bit recently, but for a long time I was watching a lot of those. And one day during a Sonic Adventure 2 race, I was curious as to like exactly how far apart the two runners were in terms of seconds because it's a little hard to tell because of differing load times and stuff. And so like I plotted out when one player exited one level what their timer said, and when another player exited their level, and I did some math and I just started posting in chat. One player is ahead by exactly this much time, and I kept doing that, and people thought it was neat, and it sort of snowballed a little bit from there. I created this timing tool that you can use online. If you go to my github.io website, you can find it. It's basically you just enter in times at various points in each run, and it will tell you who is ahead by how much and give you some other data. And eventually, the Sacer team worked out a mechanic where that information could be displayed on the stream during the race, so everyone watching could see who was ahead and by how much, aside like loading times aside.
And this
So
is
that's how,
because of the time bonus thing.
not so much the time bonus thing. It's more just like loadless timing, which is generally how Sonic Adventure era
Oh,
games are run.
for some reason I was thinking Sonic 3, but yeah, never mind.
Uh,
Okay. So
no,
people would
these
play on like different platforms with the various. Okay.
Yeah, various different load times, or they were just on PC with different powers of
Oh,
PC.
okay. Yeah, because a lot
So,
of PC games they have it like built into the live split where it'll not track. I don't know how they set it all up. I'm not tech savvy, but yeah, they have it where.
it's
Okay.
it sort of depends. Like I think some of them will just track the game's timer in RAM and just follow that timer.
Okay. You see, I play games where we don't have to worry about all that. Like
Mhm.
NESs are very consistent with each other. So
Right.
when it
Yeah.
comes to all this complicated stuff, I'm just out. So I'll leave that to the professionals.
Fair enough.
But it is
Well,
cool
yeah.
that they can make it all work because it sucks that it, like if you were just doing it based on RTA on itself, it would be like unfair, just to put it
Yeah.
lightly. So
This comes up in the Summoning Salt video on Sonic Adventure 2 Battle,
oh, that's
where
an oldie.
some Yeah,
I
some new
remember it.
runner came onto the scene and they clearly were not as good, but they were getting world record times. And then someone notices, oh, they just have a better PC. And so that led to the loadless timer.
Yeah, those game do all of the like that era games have like the IGT thing
Um,
because
they,
I know for because you remind me of the SA2B video. They do
mhm.
IGT in that run for
Yes,
like
they do IGT for that. They do IGT for Sonic Adventure 2, for Sonic 06, Shadow the Hedgehog generally. Sonic Heroes, if you are on emulator or running the actual PC version of the game, which is hard to find, then it does IGT. If you are playing Sonic Adventure 1, you've got all that time spent on like the adventure map, which is not timed but still part of the speedrun. So that's not IGT, that's technically just loadless. And
this
Sonic
it's also complicated.
Yes,
But
Sonic Heroes is kind of its own little nightmare if you're running on console, because like the timer will stop, the IGT will stop counting at various weird times. Like if you are fading in and out of a death screen during that fade out period, the timer will stop, but it won't stop during like some cutscenes, but it will stop for other cutscenes. It's very, very difficult to track. So like sometimes you just sort of have to wait until the run is over and people go into the file screen to see what their time is to know who actually won the race.
I see. Yeah, like it's nice to know how that's all done for like leaderboards, because that's already complicated enough, but then I can't even imagine doing it for like live racing situations.
It's awful, and if I ever have to do it, I hate myself, but I do it anyway because I love this community. But that's yeah. There are other people who will take on the timing duties for, Sonic Adventure 2, Sonic 06. Basically nobody but me will do it for Sonic Heroes, and I don't blame them.
Fair enough. But it's all figured out to where you can you can actually track the races.
Mostly, yes. I've never had to do a Team Dark race, and that's its own precious little hell for various reasons. It's like, I mean, as long as we're going on tangents, basically, every team in Sonic Heroes has this big AoE attack they can do. Team Dark's attack will stop the IGT timer on the screen for a variable period of time. It's supposed to be 20 seconds, but if you beat the level earlier, then it's a variable period of time.
Yeah.
And so tracking that live, I actually don't know how to do. So I hope I never have to figure it out.
Well, just stay away from heroes as much as possible.
I do.
That's the strategy.
Mm.
Man, that just reminds me. I know next to nothing about heroes, but I was watching. Gonna bring up Supersonic again. I was watching him do a casual play a long time ago, and the whole time we were all just shitting on the game.
That's fair. Sonic Heroes was one of those games where they had just enough development time to make sure you could beat the game, and then they had to send it out the door.
Yeah, that makes sense. But
it's a little messy.
Yeah, I'm not familiar at all with its speedrun scene or anything. I'm a little familiar with the adventure games, but not too much.
And Heroes, it's a little less active, but the tournaments that kept popping up regularly sort of helped keep the community alive for a bit. I don't know where it's at now because there haven't been as many Sacer tournaments over the past year. Hopefully there's more cool stuff coming up.
Well, it sounds like there's plenty of content, at least occasionally, so that's good. Been a while since I've done a tournament, like an online thing where it's bracketed and.
Yeah, same. My track record in tournaments is pretty excruciatingly bad. It was one tournament that I won some matches in for Shantae, and I don't think I've ever won a match in any other tournament I've entered. There was a Sonic and Knuckles tournament where I got very, very close to winning a match, but then in Lava Reef, while I was trying to do a stair clip, I hit a subpixel thing that just ruined the glitch and killed me, and it had like a 12 in 256 chance of happening, something like that. And it happened to me 5 times in a row. Which the odds of that were something like 1 in 100,000.
Oh. Okay.
It was pretty gut-wrenching to see that happen. I had no chance of winning after that. And I was ahead going into that. I'm still bitter about that.
Wow. I can never complain again.
No, I have had the worst luck. All of you can rest easy now.
It's good. But all right, so I do know you were involved. There was a big like Sonic kind of relay um last year at
Like relay
GDQ.
last.
The GDQ what was it, Origins?
The Origins relay.
Yeah.
Why don't I remember? I commentating for this? Because I
I
don't
thought you
think
were there. Maybe I'm forgetting.
so.
Oh
For
no, maybe
the
you weren't actually.
basically for the entirety of 25, I have not had the chance to speedrunner stream because I have been working on a side project that has finally cleared up that I can't talk about yet. But
I see. No,
that
this
should
was winter last year.
winter
So
last year would make a little more sense. I was not playing Origins at the time, but it would not surprise me if I was on the comms for something like that.
yeah, it was just obviously Sonic, so I figured you might have been involved.
A reasonable assumption.
Let's see. It must have been. It was Supersonic, Flying Fox, Joey, and Sonic Star. Was this? I know Argic was on comms, but he wasn't there in person. Maybe you weren't involved at all.
It's possible I
All
wasn't. I know my memory is bad, but I do not have much memory of this.
right, fair enough. Never mind.
I
But
probably
that
watched
was cool. I guess
it. Yeah.
that was a cool relay, but um, I didn't get to catch much of it because I actually had a run. The run I had to do was like right afterwards,
Oh, okay.
but yeah, I
Was
mean,
this at a GDQ or is this for like a hotfix or something
no,
else?
this was AGQ 2024.
2024.
Yeah, no, it was a big relay, like Origins. It was all four games, so 1, 2, CD, and then 3 and K as one, and then each run was a different character. So one was Sonic, one was Tails, one was Knuckles, one was Amy. Because Origins, you can do Amy.
I was at that event. I was at AGDQ 2024 for one half of the week.
Nope, fake Sonic fan, I guess, but we had to
Gosh
find
dang
out
it.
somehow. No.
I AGDQ I only go for half the week because I don't
Oh,
like leaving my
it was
headset
the
on.
second half of the week, if that.
Oh, okay, then I did miss
In
it,
fact,
unfortunately.
it was Saturday.
Okay, then yeah,
Okay,
I
well,
almost certainly watched it from home.
that checks out then. But
Okay then.
yeah, I figured I wasn't remembering it very well because again, I was a little occupied myself, but
Hmm.
I just remember because I hadn't seen anything Sonic 3 related, um, other than that GDQX run since AGDQ 2020 with that race I was talking about. So
Yeah, gotcha.
that
Yeah,
that just
Sonic.
came to mind.
No, Sonic Origins. Yeah, this may be a time to talk about why I don't like speedrunning it. So,
Fair, yeah.
I mean, like obviously, Origins being made much much later is a lot less glitchy in certain ways. Like, the biggest, most important glitch in Sonic 3 is the horizontal level ramp, where
Hmm.
you send Sonic flying off to the left so fast that he bypasses the left level barrier, and then his exposition overflows. Exposition, not exposition. Overflows to the end of the level, and that lets you basically skip to the end of the boss. Obviously, that got patched out, which we all expected.
Hmm.
What really drove me mad was a change that they made to how Sonic interacts with certain sprites. So, in the base game, in the original Sonic 3 and Knuckles, you can get squished between a sprite and some ground, but only on one side. Like, only if you are on the right side can you get squished by an object coming down at you. And for Sonic Origins, they fixed this. So you
Hmm.
can now get squished on either side. And the end result is that more times than I can count, I would be spin dashing through a level, running through it, and I would come across I would run into an object that was moving down face first. And in the base game, you would just, stop and wait for it. In Sonic Origins, this would kill you
Hmm.
because you can now get squished on that side. which I
Wait,
think is the whole reason why you couldn't get squished on that side in the original game.
I see. Quick side
So
note: is that why monitor clip works? You're hitting the left side of the monitor.
no,
No, that's something else.
monitor clip. Yeah, that's you getting entirely underneath the capsule. But you have a very, very narrow window of time in which to do it, to get yourself entirely under the capsule without breaking the capsule.
Okay.
With Sonic is super hard. With Tails, it's not very hard at all. You have like a third of a second window to hit. But yeah, that's how that works.
Yeah.
It's unrelated to this new thing. But
Okay.
this made me so upset playing the game the first time that I did not go back to it a second time. I just
I
kept
see.
speedrunning the original.
Yeah. I'll never
Yeah.
fully figure out S3K clearly, but
Nobody will. We are still discovering new stuff in this game. Like we just discovered a new wrong warp like in the
yes.
past month or so.
That
Like a
reminds
new way.
me the GDQX I keep bringing up last year.
Mhm.
Sonic at the End showcased the wrong warp with the Marble Madness card
Mhm.
swap. And that was the first time it was shown at a live event, but now you can do it entirely in the game, right? You don't need to cart swap.
Yes, you do not need Marble Madness. You just have to do some very precise RAM manipulation. Basically, I do not know the details of it, but at the end of the day, it makes the game basically forget that Sonic 3 is locked on, and it just thinks you're in plain old Sonic and Knuckles. So when you get a game over, it takes you to the Sonic and Knuckles home screen, and you start halfway through the game.
Just
It's,
crazy.
it's wonderful and wild.
Hmm.
I still have yet to fully understand how it works.
I know people have completed runs with it though already.
They have, yes. I know. I think Supersonic was on that grind for a little bit. I would not be surprised if Joey was on that for a bit. I do remember Supersonic trying very hard to make that consistent,
Mm.
and it's really finicky.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Everything in that game is finicky.
Yeah, of course. But yeah, that's just a wild thing to exist. But S3K is the game that keeps on giving, I guess.
It is. We'll be plumbing those depths for years to come.
Of course. Um, I mean, are there any other games we haven't touched on yet?
Let's see. There's Sonic 06. Um, as far as being involved in an actual speedrun, the last thing worth talking about is a game I did not actually speedrun, but I was adjacent to the speedrun, which is the Crazy Taxi Run that was done at AGDQ
Ah, of
2025.
course. Yes.
Right.
We have to bring
So
this up.
yes, very much so. So uh, sometime in early 2024, I spotted a message from Tudos on social media asking if he knew any musicians, and I popped up like I know some instruments, and like he reaches out on Discord and says, "Hey, so like I'm looking to put together this really cool Crazy Taxi Run where we have a live band, and we need like a drummer." Or he said a drummer or a bassist because we had one person. Squidilla could either have been drums or bass,
Hmm.
and like I jumped on that because Crazy Taxi was one of the games that was like my punk rock musical awakening. Basically, it introduced me to my current favorite band, Bad Religion, and so those four songs are like burned into my soul at this point. And so like I knew at that moment I had to be a part of this. Like
Hmm.
this was my
It
destiny.
was made for you.
So it was absolutely made for me. It was just the perfect circumstances dropped into my lap. And so yeah, we're talking for a bit, and we did some off-screen practice for a little bit. Like I would record a drum track based on a video and record that, and then it would be sent to some other folks, the other people in the band to practice with. And then at SGDQ 2024, we made a big show of doing some sort of secret music project that we didn't want anyone to know about, that we especially did not want Kuiper Don't Care to know about. just because Tudos wanted to needle him, I guess, and which I was all for.
Hmm.
Yeah, it was at SGDQ 2024 in one of the back rooms that wasn't being used. We recorded our submission video, and then we had to wait patiently for a few months for that submission to go in. But thankfully, it was accepted, and then I ended up driving 14 hours in one day with a drum set in the back of my car from Minnesota to Pittsburgh to get ready for this crazy taxi run, which we had to practice several times in one of the reserved music rooms. Like, this was the reason they had the music room, was so we had a space to practice in
Oh,
and
okay.
get this stuff down. I mean, like, it wasn't there. We were not the only musical act. There was also Dr. Doot with his saxophone in Elden Ring, but it was mainly to facilitate us being able to do this.
Yeah, that was a
Was my
big music
understanding.
showing. If I remember, that event also had like a new Super Mario Brothers Wii run on piano.
Yes, there was that. I forgot about that.
Yeah,
So I
they
guess
had a big music theme that time.
maybe I'm full of it when I say that room was mainly for us, but it was.
Well, I mean,
It was.
I think it was like the defining moment of that GDQ probably. So
I think it was. Yeah,
I don't think
we
many
definitely
are gonna argue that one.
we very much needed the space as well. And I remember we had to like meet at least once, maybe twice, with like the GDQ staff to go over the logistics of how this was going to work. And that was where we talked about things like what was our band name, and were we going to have those like credits on the screen, and how exactly was the audio setup and the video setup going to work. So that was the most I've ever had to prepare for a GDQ anything.
Mm-hmm.
But my God, that was like, if you haven't seen that run, please watch it. It's one of the coolest things I've ever done in my life. God,
Yeah.
having being able to play back there, having this crowd behind us, which we were able to hear singing along, and thinking about the photos that were taken at the time. Like, you saw, Chuckles and Metalama and Tudos and Squidilla, like, all playing and having a good time. And then there's me, who in every photograph I look like I'm defusing a bomb, because
Locked
I
in.
I had to be incredibly locked in, because like everyone else was basically starting and stopping on my cue, and we had to time it as perfectly as we could with the game. And so I could not look away from the game screen pretty much at any time. So I just had to be incredibly locked in, which I was for about 25 straight minutes, and which my hands are not meant to play for 25 straight minutes without stopping. Like, everyone else got a break, but I decided in my infinite wisdom that I was going to play along with the menu music, which was all drums. And so while everyone else got a break, I never got a break. I got a break of at most like 3 seconds throughout that whole period. And by the end of the run, I couldn't play anymore the way that I was supposed to. I had to drop half of the hi-hats out of the final instance of All I Want, because I physically could not do it anymore. And I ended up dropping 4 different sticks during that run. If you load up the video around the 6-minute mark, you can see a drumstick go flying out of my hands, and I just look after it. And thankfully, I don't know, I've never dropped drumsticks before, but thankfully I anticipated this, and I had a bag of extra drumsticks ready to go. So every time I lost one, I just pulled out another one and kept going.
Huge.
So thank goodness I did, because otherwise it would have been really noticeable and embarrassing. But now it's only noticeable and embarrassing to me, which is, better for everyone else but me.
Well, now we're leaking all that information to the public, so.
Now everyone's going to go to that video and watch for that flying stick.
Yes, of course. I know I am. But yes, I was in the room for that, as was all of Pittsburgh, I guess.
It felt like it. That room was stuffed. I couldn't see it at the time, of course, but there was a circle pit at one point.
Yes, they had a whole mosh pit going on in the front. They like moved the chairs out of the way. We're like, all right, everybody in. I was not there. I would have gotten crowd crushed, but I was in the room.
We're in that's yeah. I've only ever moshed once in my life, and I the problem is I love singing along when I'm at a concert to the band, and you can't mosh while you're singing along. You're gonna bite your tongue off. So I had to get out of the mosh pit quickly.
Mm, yeah.
Yeah, that I remember. They wanted us to hand pick who was going to be like in the front row for that, who was going to be the most visible, and so we ended up,
Oh.
selecting a handful of lucky folks that we knew to be the first people in the crowd.
I see.
Sorry to everyone else. I think that was just, for the safety of the stream, basically.
You don't want anyone doing anything too crazy in the mosh pit.
No, 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 no. I guess I wanted to ask, how was the audio quality in the room? Because I've heard varying reports about it.
I'm gonna be real. I don't know how to answer that because it was just so loud because the
Hmm.
whole audience was like into it, you know? So it's like I really just there, there's too many noises going on for me to like accurately remember what it was
Hmm.
like, but I know it felt like a concert. That's for sure.
That's great. That's the vibe we wanted. We
The
wanted it to feel
vibe the
like a concert.
vibe was perfect. I can say that much.
That's just what I wanted to hear.
Okay.
Looking at the video, it looked like a concert.
Yeah. Uh it that room was I've never seen it like that before. I've been to many GDQs. It never quite looked like that. So,
That's, like I said, one of the coolest things I have ever done. I would love an opportunity to do something like that again if all of the fates would align. Maybe. I know people really liked it. People have asked for more. I
mhm.
don't know. Who's to say?
Hint, hint, wink, wink, right?
If anyone out there, would be interested in recruiting us, just saying.
Well, what other games would be good for that?
Uh, Two things jump out to me right away. One is SSX, which
Yes.
also has a banging soundtrack. The I think the clear front runner here is a Tony Hawk game of some
Oh, of
flavor.
course. Yeah, okay.
Mhm. It's also part of my musical awakening. That was playing Tony Hawk for the first time. Let me discover Goldfinger,
Mm.
which was my favorite band for a very long time, and that was almost the precise moment that I stopped listening exclusively to top 40 radio and started finding other music to listen to. I think Hang-Ups by Goldfinger was one of the first albums I ever bought.
Oh, there you go.
That that would also be a very not just fun but meaningful thing for me to do, I think. I would love the opportunity if all the stars somehow aligned.
Hmm. Well, I mean, I do like what GDQ's been doing, a lot more unique kind of things like that. So,
Mhm. Yeah, I love how they're branching out. They did that concert at SGDQ
oh
with the
yeah,
Megas.
wow.
That was really fun. Yeah, we got to actually earlier in that day we saw the Megas drinking at the bar in the hotel, and
Hmm.
we all got to talk and we got a picture together, which
Oh,
was really
I do
cool.
remember the picture. Yeah.
Yeah,
Man.
and I'm just thinking about memories right now. That was a great time.
Yeah, actually at SGDQ this past one, I spent quite a bit of time in the music room, not really doing that much myself. Although someone, I forget who, but someone did teach me how to do a good drum beat that I could hold for a while. So,
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah. I was a trumpet player in school, and I did a. I wasn't good at piano, but I tried. But I like fell off music after school. But no, I've always still liked it. So I hung out there a lot. There was a guy I hung out with that was like made music for games, so it was always pretty popping in there with something going on. And people would bring
I
their own
was.
instruments, and there were some interesting ones.
Oh yeah, like what did somebody bring that was really interesting?
I think someone brought their like French horn, something
Ah,
like that, like some brass stuff. I
oh,
forget if
that's
there's like an
cool.
automaton or something, but yeah, just I don't know. People had stuff. Yeah.
I remember dropping in there for like an hour on one of those days, hanging out on the drum set, playing along to songs I may or may not have known. It made me wish there was a electronic drum set. Thing about a regular drum set, they're really loud, like
Yeah,
extremely loud.
I thought there used to be one.
There was for several years someone was bringing a drum pad for people to play on, which
Oh, it
is
was a
not a drum
pad. You're
set.
right. You're right. That's what I was thinking
Yeah,
of.
it is much weirder to play
Yes. Yeah.
because like it's just a bunch of squares in front of you, and you only have the two hands. You don't have your feet. It's more awkward.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking of. Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, definitely not the same. But yeah, no, I'm glad the music room's a staple now. That's fun to just peep in and people are doing some cool shit in there.
Me too. I think I'm gonna
See,
spend some more time in there in the future.
I remember the olden days where Bismuth would bring his piano, and that's like all the
Oh,
music. Like I specifically remember AGDQ 2019, like because the stream room and practice room were upstairs, and then there's a downstairs where all the other rooms were, and it was just at the bottom of the staircase. And oh man, those were good vibes. I still remember.
being able to see Bismuth on the piano live, that would be so cool. He's very talented.
Yes. I'm so glad what he did with his content where he started just doing piano arrangements for all the music. It's so perfectly Bismuth.
It is. It gives just such a wonderful vibe to all of his videos. I love watching those and listening for what song's going to come up next.
Well, this is a good segue, like very good into what we haven't talked about yet, but I knew we were foreshadowing a long time ago.
Hmm.
DK64.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
specifically the DK64 randomizer.
Yes. Very popular amongst a group of gamers that like DK64 randomizer for some reason.
For some reason. Mm, It's Yeah, I mean, I of course I have to bring up at this juncture. If you are interested, tune in to AGDQ 2026. It's going to be a DK64 rando race against Kuiper Don't Care and Connor, and I am going to be on the back couch for that,
Mm.
doing the silly stuff that Kuiper wants us to do.
Perfect. That will be interesting.
But
Randomizers are always something that, for lack
I
of a
am
better word.
so I am so looking forward to that for several reasons that we'll get into shortly. But
Mhm.
yeah. Did you have a specific question about that, or is you're just pointing at me and saying go for this?
I guess I'm just pointing at you. I just know you're involved, but I don't know with like
Yeah.
exactly what, so I can let you explain that.
So well, let's go back to several years before DK64 randomizer. I was watching Skybills play the Ocarina of Time randomizer,
Mm.
and I recognized that one of the songs that was playing was not an Ocarina of Time song. It was a song from some other game rendered in the Ocarina of Time sound font. I said, "Whoa, that's super cool. What is that?" And she pointed me towards Darunia's Joy, which was a music pack that was being built up of people just converting songs from older games or other games into the Ocarina of Time sound font. And so I picked that up and I started doing that for a little while, making some Ocarina of Time music. And yeah, I made like a good dozen or so songs for that. And then around that time, the DK64 randomizer was starting to pick up steam. Like it originally started off just as a Lewis script, I want to say, but the people who work on the DK64 randomizer are actual geniuses. They are actual wizards. I think Balam, I still don't know how to pronounce his name. I apologize. Please correct me. Uh, I think that man knows more about the DK64 source code than anybody alive, and that includes the people who previously worked on the game. His knowledge is unbelievable. It is wild what they've been able to do. But yeah, it was starting to ramp up around that time, and it had a pretty cool music scene. But I also saw an opportunity to contribute to like the randomizer itself, and so like I made a couple of small changes here and there, and then I started a much bigger project, which was the Plandomizer. And
Hmm.
basically, by myself, I put together all of the UI for the DK64 Plandomizer, and like offered that to them as a well, I was in contact, but I offered it to them as a pull request, and then somebody else, I think Larock, put together the back end for it, and we glued it together, and that's where the Plandomizer came from. So I just like saw it was something that was in Ocarina of Time previously. You could do a Plandomizer, but it was like this weird, completely separate beast. Like you had to choose either the randomizer or the Plandomizer, and they didn't really mesh together. And I saw an opportunity to make a Plandomizer that worked really well with the rest of the randomizer. So it
And
was
what
sort of
exactly is
designed.
a plandomizer?
A Plandomizer is. Sorry, I should have led with this.
That's okay.
Plandomizer basically lets you, instead of just randomizing everything, you can specify exactly what rewards are going to be in what places. So,
Oh, okay.
like
Kind of like a
if you
set
want to,
seed, almost.
yeah, a set seed, but it doesn't have to. You don't have to set like an entire seed. You can just
Okay.
choose one or two things that you want to set if you like.
Okay. Yeah.
So, yeah, that was what I wanted to do. Is like, first of all, I wanted to do a cool thing because I'm a programmer by trade. I just enjoy programming and I like contributing to things.
Hmm.
And so yeah, I did the Plandomizer and that, uh, and then I did some extra stuff, some setting strings, and then I did some stuff with mu- music Plandomizing. And at that point, Tudos reached out and was like, "Hey, do you want to be like an actual developer on the randomizer?" And I said, "Yes, that sounds awesome." And so I did that, and then uh, for the past year or so, I've been neglecting my duties because I've been so busy that I've got a lot of work to catch up on the Plandomizer to make it viable for the next big release. I promise I am going to do that. If anyone from the dev team is listening, I will get that done before the next big release. Start bugging me at the new year. But yeah, on top of that, while I was doing some dev stuff, I was also messing around with converting songs once again to the DK64 sound font. And the DK64 sound font is amazing. There's so much more you can do with that game's music than you could with Ocarina of Time, because like there's this huge 80 something selection of instruments you can use, and they all sound great, and you can use whatever combination of them you want, which is not the case with Ocarina of Time. It's the sounds that you can create, the songs you can recreate. It's just incredibly powerful, and you can get some amazing sounding stuff out of it. And so I've been having a blast contributing to that. And that's one of the major things I'm looking forward to at AGDQ 2026. Kuiper has gone through and picked out a lot of the music that he wants to play, and he's just set those in the specific locations he wants them to play. So when
Oh.
you tune into that race, you're going to hear a lot of really cool music. So please check that out.
So it'll be set up in a way where both runners are on the same seed and like they'll use the planned stuff to like set it the way they want it without obviously the runners knowing exactly what's going on.
Yeah, so the Rando is set up so that you can handle like anything logic related and anything cosmetic related separately. So like you
Mm-hmm.
can take a fully formed seed or like the bones of it and upload it to the website and then change the cosmetics however you like. So you can
Okay.
mess with the music but not actually change the seed.
So like you could make their skins different despite them playing the same game, which would be a
Yeah.
little easier maybe for the viewers.
Well, DK64 modeling, like changing physical models, is still something very difficult and
Oh,
in its
okay.
infancy. I don't know if we actually have the whole modeling system figured out the way we do for Ocarina of Time, but I mean,
Okay.
you can change the color of their fur pretty easily and stuff like that.
Well, that's all you need. I
Yeah,
guess, but
yeah, for sure. The size of their heads and stuff.
sure. But yeah, no, that's cool. I've heard a lot about it. Obviously, another game I'm not too familiar with, and like randomizers is a whole thing I don't really deal with. But there was a
Yeah,
Mario
that's
one kind of, and it is set up like a plandomizer, like you were talking about. So I get the concept.
a
Um,
Mario 1 randomizer?
yeah, and it's weird because it randomizes level layout. I believe how it works is there's like chunks of level layout and they're randomly thrown in. So it's
Interesting.
never
I've
in a
never
way
seen
that's
that.
impossible, but it is all like not real levels that exist elsewhere. I don't know. And like there's tons of graphic music changes, sound effect changes, different sprites and different power-ups that don't exist. I don't know, it was crazy and this was a long time ago. I've actually that's something I've always wanted to have on GDQ, but I wanted a very particular way that I need another person for that has never been able to do it. But
Okay.
man, that randomizer is ridiculous. And
Uh, I would love to see that, and I bet GDQ would love to see that too.
yeah, yeah. I can't even put it into words exactly. I know Cosmic and I have done a couple of races on it on his channel as like a proof of concept. One of them's really bad though because of me. So the first one we did
Oh,
though, and the way it was edited, beautiful. Um, so I don't know what the difference is, but there's one where both of our screens are on display, like it was edited so both of our screens are on display the whole time. That's the one that's like a really good showcase of what it's like.
I'll have to check that out. Is that something I could find on YouTube?
Yeah, it'd be on his channel somewhere.
Okay.
Like randomizer Mario 1 randomizer races are crazy or something like that. I don't know. You know,
Mm,
the YouTube meta, but
you're trying to game the algorithm
yeah,
the way you have to
exactly.
do.
It's been a few years now though, but
Okay. I
yeah.
I
Um
love the different like flavors of randomizer you can get. Like here with
oh yeah.
Mario 1, like you're randomizing the layouts. You have to, you know, like know, I mean, like you can't know what part of the level is coming next, and you just sort of have to react.
Mhm.
Compare that to DK64, which is like a massive lock and key Metroidvania all of a sudden, and then compare that to Kingdom Hearts, which is like you trying to like very combat focused randomizer where you're trying to find the combat skills you need in order to be good enough to defeat a certain number of bosses.
Mhm.
Lots of cool variety among randomizers. It sort of feels like randomizers are like the next stage in how we get more enjoyment out of an old game. Like speedruns were very much that for a long time, and like as then randomizers popped up, and now those are growing in popularity in a very similar way.
Mhm. Yeah, I've seen many a speedrunner turn into more like a randomizer or like Archipelago. That's like an evolution of Rando in a way.
Hmm.
That kind of content. So yeah, they're everywhere now. A
Hmm.
lot of games have something. I wonder.
Yeah,
I don't know if DK64 is like in the Archipelago kind of setup, but that would
it
fit.
is.
Okay, it
It
is.
is an archipelago, and it was. I don't know how they pulled it off. 'Cause I don't know
Yeah.
how they pull anything off. That game
No. Yeah.
is held together with glue sticks. The code is nearly impenetrable as far as I can tell, but somehow they made Archipelago work, and it's really, really good actually.
Yeah.
Very nicely featured. Once again, the people who work on this randomizer are just geniuses. Amazing what they can do. Yeah,
Reminded
and there's
me
also.
years ago. I was in a call with Bismuth. I think I had just got an N64 with the expansion pack. Um,
Mhm.
and within like a minute at a time, he would teach me how to do something that just broke the game completely. It's so beautiful in that regard.
That sounds right. There are many things that break the game completely.
We love broken games.
Oh, we
Clearly.
sure do.
Anyway, you were I cut you
No-
off, but you were
Oh,
gonna
oh
say
yeah.
something, I
I was
think.
gonna say. I was gonna say. For the longest time, I think the crowd control devs were saying we're never
Mm.
gonna do Donkey Kong 64. That game is a nightmare to work with. And I mean, guess what? That's now one of the games in crowd control is Donkey Kong 64. I think
Man,
they
I
had.
forgot about crowd control, but yeah, that's a whole nother thing.
It is a whole nother thing. That's sort of yeah. It had its time, and it's still around, but I don't think it's as big as it was like in its like flash in the pan kind of moment, I guess.
Yeah, I think Archipelago really took over kind of the like content rando thing, which is weird
Yeah,
because you can't really do chat interactions with that, but the concept is like uniquely distinct and fresher, I guess. But
yeah, for sure.
mhm. But
Like,
no, crowd
yeah, but
control is still like fascinating to me. All of those things are just, I flunked out of computer science, so all of that goes well over my head. But
okay.
but the kudos to the people that can pull that shit off because oh my god,
Mm, I understand how it works on like a surface level, but if you
yeah,
ask me to actually implement it, I would just curl up in a ball and cry.
yeah, yeah. Like I can't even imagine what it's like. And like you're doing it all just for the love of the craft too. You're not getting
Yeah.
much anything out of it. So
You never you can't charge for randomizers. You
no.
can't the extent to the DK64 devs have gone to avoid any sort of legal trouble has been pretty expansive. It's a fine line to walk.
Oh, I bet.
Hmm.
Nintendo's fun. Anyway, I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, let's do that.
Um, well, is there anything else in your speedrunning history we haven't touched on that you'd like to? I
Um,
can't really think of anything myself, but you know your past better than me.
there's not a whole lot else there. I am not one of the speedrunners who has, done like a wide breadth of games like I know many people do. I tend to focus just on one or two things at a time. So,
And
yeah,
certainly
you've
nothing
heard
wrong
about
with
all
that.
my
I'm very similar.
you've heard about all my major games. I still intend to learn Sonic Adventure 2 at some
Mm.
point. But I don't know. That sort of feels more and more distant, especially after this year where I never really had time to stream much of anything. So,
Well, it's
but
always
yeah,
there, so.
there'll always be Sonic. I'll always be doing some sort of Sonic speedruns. I'll be doing some of the Sonic Ring Shuffler, which is really
Oh
fun.
yeah.
We did not touch upon that, but yeah, that showed up on everyone's social media at one point. Mr. Etchinson posted this video of him playing Sonic games and swapping as soon as he collects a ring,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought that's the coolest thing ever. And then at one point, I forget who reached out to me about this, but they said, "Hey, I know the guy who made this video, and he's like looking for someone to test this thing out. Are you interested?" And I said, "Absolutely." So I started doing that, and that's been God, that just melts your brain
Yeah.
the first few times you do it, especially depending on what your settings are. Uh, yeah, that's super cool. I like doing that every once in a while. I've done that for a hot fix. I somehow convinced Spike Vegeta to do that at one point,
Hmm.
and that was really fun. And that reminds me that inspired by that, myself and Only Spaghetti Code, by which I mean Spaghetti Code did literally all of the coding work, and I just consulted on things. We implemented something similar for Donkey Kong Country, which Spike debuted on Christmas Eve this year. So if you're interested in a new way of playing the Donkey Kong Country trilogy, reach out to us and we'll help you get that set up. It's really cool.
Hmm. Yep. There's so
Hmm.
many ways to mess with old games now. That's
I
for
love
sure.
it. I love the ingenuity of the game community. We'll keep these games alive forever.
Yep. We love to see it. um. Well, if that's all about your history, I do usually ask at the end about the future. So.
Yeah, so like I said, I really want to get back into streaming starting next year. The big thing that I want to do, not necessarily speedrun related, but it's a console challenge, like you've seen
Oh
NES,
yes.
3DS, NES Mania, DS Destruction from Mr. Shasta. I had a terrible idea, which is what if I do this with Game Boy Advance games?
Oh no.
I Yeah, so there's a lot of those. I've played a bunch of those games, but I have not played all thousand plus of them. And so that's something that I want to start doing sometime next year is GBA Forever. so named because I'm never going to finish it because
Ah, true.
I'm only a part-time speedrunner. I can't complete that entire library playing 6 hours a week. But that's something I really want to do. I want to get back into practice with Sonic 3. I'm looking openly at other games that I might want to speedrun. The one that comes to mind readily is Bomberman Hero. And
Mm,
I don't really know why this jumped out at me, but it's a game that I loved playing when I was a kid, and I think it could be a really fun speedrun to watch, and so I'm probably going to give that a try. So, yeah, look for that on my channel, and then, yeah, I don't know. The future is wide open.
yeah,
I
fair
still
enough.
want to do speedrunning. I still want to stream. I want to entertain people and make fun stuff. So if anyone can think of a really fun speed game they would like me to play, please let me know. And I may or may not listen, but I appreciate the feedback.
Want to try Mario?
You know, maybe.
All
We'll
right.
stick a pin in
Better
that.
answer than I was expecting.
Like, yeah, I know. I wonder if I could get an under 5 minute time in Mario 1. I think that would be a
Yeah,
cool feather to have in my cap.
I say it all the time, but I think if you properly learn, you can do it in a week. It's not as hard as people make it out to be. After that, yeah, have fun.
Yeah.
But that isn't too bad. Um,
Okay.
yeah, with
That's
the proper
good
help and
encouragement.
practice, it really. I know people that have done it in a day. So,
Oh wow.
yeah, Nigro, I know, did it in a day. So it's not
Well,
impossible. I give it a week usually. Obviously, that can fluctuate quite a bit
mhm,
depending on the person, but
that's fair.
yeah. But yeah, it's really not as hard as, especially nowadays. It's really not that bad. But yeah, beyond that, stop.
Okay.
That's my
All right.
advice. No, but yeah, if you just want a sub 5, I can easily recommend that to anyone. But
All right. That's good to know.
yep, there's my words of wisdom in terms of Mario, I guess. Um, but yeah, I guess that's everything. Sounds like we covered all of our bases.
I think so. You've been going on for a while. I can't think of anything else. So maybe
Well,
my 1 day stint trying to speedrun Contrast in 2014.
hmm,
Thought maybe this would be cool, and I quickly found out no, it's just boring. So that didn't last very long. So that's about it.
well, the last thing I'll ask of you then is you can self promote however you'd like.
Okay. Well, yeah, I guess. Yeah, I haven't streamed this year, but I will be streaming next year. It's twitch.tv/TheSoundDefense. Please check that out. I'm also posting occasional videos on my YouTube, Sound Defense RB. I have been recently posting more DK64 music conversions there because we're trying to get more of those off of GitHub and onto YouTube for storage reasons.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, check out dk64randomizer.com and please, yeah, just check out some of my older videos. Check out my GDQ runs of Sonic 3, of Shantae, and if you haven't watched Crazy Taxi, please do so.
Oh my god. I'm sure the whole internet has seen it by now, but
I hope so. It's nearing a 500,000 views on YouTube very
holy
slowly.
shit. That's
Yeah,
pretty
it, it
good.
it went nuts.
Oh
Like
yeah,
that
no.
was I remember in the lead up to that when the schedule was posted, like there were a big smattering of small tech news sites that were pointing it out, and I thought, wow, we've done
Hmm.
something really noteworthy here.
Yeah, I mean it's unique. Shows GDQ going in a more, you know, varied direction, which is fun because I certainly understand you can't just do regular speedruns of the same games forever. So we're seeing
Hmm.
new stuff come out, which is nice. But yeah, I guess
Hmm.
that's everything.
I think so. Hey, thank you
So,
so much for having me on. This was really fun. It's a great trip down memory lane.
oh yeah, no problem at all. Thanks for showing interest. That's what
Oh,
makes me
absolutely,
happy is people that actually want to do this. So,
for sure. Congrats on 150 episodes of this.
yeah, we did it.
Nice job.
I don't know how I've done it, but I've done it. So there you go.
Through sheer determination.
Yep, that's what it is. That means we're coming up on 3 years of weekly episodes. Good lord.
Wow.
Well, I guess I'm not stopping yet, so stay tuned. But
Mhm.
I guess that'll be all for today. So thanks for watching
Yeah.
and goodbye.
Take
Bye.
care.